You feel yourself being gently cradled in perfect stillness. A warmth spreads through your body like honey pouring slowly from a golden spoon. There is no rush, here no urgency, no demands pulling at your attention. You are held in complete safety, wrapped in layers of caring presence. Soft light begins to gather around you, not harsh or bright, but tender and nourishing. It touches your shoulders, your arms, your chest, with infinite gentleness. This light knows you, completely understands every part of who you are. And yet, it asks nothing of you except to simply be present. You notice now that you are floating suspended in a vast space of deep cobalt blue. The color moves around you like liquid silk flowing in slow motion. There are no edges, no boundaries, just endless gentle waves of azure calm. As you drift weightless in this ocean of peace, something magnificent comes into view. Before you stretches an enormous cavern carved from living black opal. The walls pulse with an inner radiance that seems to breathe with your own heartbeat. Veins of molten silver flow through the stone like rivers of liquid starlight. They hum with a frequency so pure it vibrates directly in your soul. 432 hertz resonates through every cell of your being, bringing perfect harmony. The sound is not heard, but felt as a warm tingle spreading from your crown, down through your spine, and out through the soles of your feet. Each vibration aligns your energy centers with effortless precision. You drift closer to the entrance of this miraculous sanctuary. The opening glows with soft amethyst light, inviting and welcoming. There is no door, no barrier between you and this place of healing. You pass through the threshold, carried by currents of loving intention. Immediately, the silence embraces you deeper than any quiet you have known. The air itself seems to cushion every breath you take. Your lungs fill with essence more nourishing than ordinary oxygen. With each exhale, tension melts away like morning mist in sunlight. The floor beneath you is not stone, but something impossibly soft. Moss-like fibers of crystalline origin cushion your every movement. They drink in sound, leaving only the most perfect silence behind. When you speak, or even think a word, the space absorbs it completely. The walls begin to shimmer, responding to your presence with gentle pulses. Molten silver streams accelerate their flow, creating patterns like cosmic dances. The humming grows richer, more complex, weaving harmonies within harmonies. You realize now that this entire cavern is alive and aware of you. Black opal walls seem to lean inward slightly, as if listening intently. The silver veins brighten where they pass closest to your position. Temperature rises, subtly wrapping you in warmth that penetrates to your bones. Yet there is no discomfort, only the most perfect comfort imaginable. You understand instinctively that you can stay here for as long as needed. Time moves differently here, measured not in seconds, but in breaths. There are no clocks, no schedules, no obligations pressing against your peace. The cavern holds space for your complete restoration and renewal. Soft indentations appear in the crystalline moss floor, forming a resting place. They conform perfectly to your body shape without any effort on your part. You settle into this natural bed feeling utterly supported and protected. The black opal walls seem to pulse with approval at your relaxation. Silver streams flow in new patterns, now creating visual music above you. Shapes emerge from the flowing metal spirals and curves of celestial beauty. They dance across the ceiling like aurora borealis, made of liquid light. Watching them, your mind naturally quiets deeper into peaceful states. The humming frequency, a DJUST, S Chinese letter, LY, responding to your changing energy levels. Where you were tense moments ago, now feels loose and flowing. Stress that seemed permanent dissolves, like sugar in warm water. Your breathing slows, naturally matching the rhythm of the cavern's heartbeat. In this perfect synchronization, you feel connected to something vast, something ancient and wise that has been waiting patiently for you. The presence that watches over you feels both intimate and infinite, like being held by the universe itself in its most loving aspect. Warmth continues to build around your heart center, spreading outward. It carries with it a sense of being completely understood and accepted. All judgments, all criticisms simply cannot exist in this space. You are free to be exactly who you are in this moment. The silver rivers overhead begin to spiral, forming mandala like patterns. Their movement draws your awareness deeper into meditative stillness. Thoughts that enter your mind drift away like clouds in gentle wind. The cavern accepts everything you bring and transforms it into peace. You notice now how the black opal walls seem to be breathing, expanding and contracting in perfect rhythm with your own respiration. The connection between you and this space grows stronger with each cycle. Molten silver streams pulse brighter during your inhales, softer during exhales. The entire cavern is mirroring your internal state back to you, but elevated, transformed into something more beautiful, more whole. You see yourself reflected not as you think you are, but as you truly are, luminous and perfect in this sacred space. The crystalline moss beneath you shifts, slightly adjusting to support you better. It seems to know exactly what your body needs in this moment. Pressure points release tension you did not even know you were carrying. Your spine aligns naturally into perfect posture without any conscious effort. The humming frequency now feels like it originates within your own chest, vibrating through your sternum and radiating outward in concentric circles. These waves of sound touch every part of your being simultaneously, healing old wounds you had forgotten existed in the depths of memory. The silver streams overhead begin to form recognizable symbols briefly, ancient characters that speak directly to your soul rather than mind. They convey messages of love, acceptance, and infinite potential. Meaning flows into your consciousness without need for translation. You feel yourself becoming lighter, as if gravity has less hold here, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually as well. Burdens you have carried for years simply float away like dandelion seeds. The cavern holds them gently, then releases them into the blue void outside. Warmth now encompasses your entire being from crown to fingertips. It feels like being submerged in a bath of liquid compassion. Every cell of your body drinks deeply from this fountain of peace. The black opal walls glow more brightly, reflecting your inner radiance. You realize that you are not just receiving healing, but generating it. Your own energy contributes to the harmony of this sacred space. The silver streams respond to your joy with more elaborate dancing patterns. Colors shift through the spectrum from deep purple to brilliant gold. The humming grows richer, incorporating harmonics that make your heart sing. You feel completely safe, completely loved, completely at home. There is nowhere else in all existence you would rather be. This cavern of black opal has become your true sanctuary. The crystalline moss shifts again, offering even deeper comfort. It seems to anticipate your needs before you are even aware of them. Your body relaxes more fully than it has in many years. Tension that had become permanent simply melts into the earth. The silver rivers overhead now flow in figure 8 patterns, symbols of infinity reminding you of your eternal nature, beyond the temporary concerns of physical existence. You are part of something magnificent, something timeless and unchanging. The humming frequency settles into a steady pulse that feels like home. It resonates in the space between your heartbeats, in the pause between thoughts, in the gap between breaths. This is where true peace lives, in the spaces between. The black opal walls seem to smile at your understanding. Their glow becomes warmer, more intimate, like shared secrets. You feel seen and known in ways that bring tears of gratitude. The cavern catches these tears, transforming them into healing light. The silver streams flow faster, now celebrating your emotional release. Their dancing becomes more joyful, more celebratory. Colors shift toward brilliant whites and golds like sunrise after storm. You realize that crying here is not sadness, but purification. Letting go of old pain to make space for new possibilities. The crystalline moss supports you through this cleansing process, holding you steady while you release what no longer serves you. The humming frequency adjusts to match your emotional rhythm, creating perfect harmony between your feelings and the space around you. You notice that the temperature has become perfectly balanced, warm enough to promote deep relaxation, but cool enough to maintain clarity. This balance allows you to remain present while completely surrendering. The silver streams overhead begin to form geometric patterns, sacred mathematics that represent universal principles of harmony. You do not need to understand them intellectually to feel their truth. Your soul recognizes these patterns as fundamental aspects of reality. The black opal walls pulse in synchronization with these sacred forms, creating a visual symphony that feeds directly into your spirit. You feel your energy field expanding beyond your physical boundaries, connecting with the infinite blue void that surrounds this sanctuary. The humming frequency now seems to originate from everywhere at once. Inside you, outside you, above, below, all around simultaneously. You are no longer separate from this space, but part of its living essence. The silver streams flow in recognition of this integration. The crystalline moss beneath you feels more substantial now, as if anchoring you while allowing your spirit to soar freely. You understand that true freedom comes from feeling completely grounded in both your physical body and your connection to the infinite. The black opal walls begin to show subtle color variations, deep purples and blues shifting through emerald greens to amber golds. These changes reflect the evolution of your inner landscape. As you heal, the space around you celebrates your transformation. The humming frequency now carries undertones of otherworldly choirs, voices that have never been born singing songs of eternal peace. You recognize these melodies as the music of your own soul, remembered from times before time when all was perfect harmony. The silver streams overhead spiral faster, creating vortexes of light. They draw your awareness upward toward realms of pure consciousness. Yet you remain perfectly anchored in your body in this moment. The cavern holds both transcendence and embodiment in perfect balance. Warmth continues to flow through you like a river of liquid sunshine, touching every corner of your being with healing radiance. You feel your cells vibrating at optimal frequencies. Now, physical ailments, mental stresses, emotional wounds, all dissolving. The black opal walls glow with increasing intensity, reflecting your radiance. The silver streams dance in celebration of your complete renewal. Colors swirl overhead in patterns too beautiful for earthly description. You are witnessing firsthand the artistry of divine creation. The crystalline moss shifts one final time, settling into perfect stillness. It has completed its work of supporting your total restoration. Now it simply holds space for you to integrate this profound healing. The humming frequency stabilizes into a tone of absolute perfection. 432 hertz resonates through your entire being, bringing ultimate harmony. You feel completely whole, completely healed, completely peace. There is nothing missing, nothing broken, nothing incomplete. You are exactly as you were meant to be in this perfect moment. The silver streams overhead slow their dancing, becoming gentle spirals. The colors soften into warm pastels that soothe your spirit. The black opal walls pulse with contentment at your transformation. This cavern of healing has fulfilled its purpose in your journey. You understand now that you carry this peace within you always. The sanctuary exists wherever you choose to access this state. The black opal cavern lives in your heart as a source of strength, a reminder that perfect peace is your natural state of being. The silver streams fade gently like stars at dawn, leaving behind only the soft glow of the opal walls. The humming frequency becomes so subtle you can barely detect it. Yet it remains as a constant anchor to this state of grace. The crystalline moss supports you in perfect stillness, allowing integration of all the healing that has taken place. You feel gratitude beyond words for this sacred experience, for the space, the time, the perfect conditions for your renewal. The blue void outside seems closer, now less distant and mysterious. You realize that separation was always an illusion. Everything is connected in the web of divine consciousness. The black opal cavern was simply a mirror showing you this truth. Warmth flows through you like a gentle river returning to the sea, carrying with it all the healing received in this sacred space. You know that this peace will remain with you always, a constant source of strength, no matter what challenges arise. The silver streams reappear one last time in farewell, dancing briefly in celebration of your completed transformation. Then they fade away, leaving only memories of celestial beauty. The black opal walls dim slightly as if settling into rest. The humming frequency becomes imperceptible, yet remains present. A silent song that will play whenever you call upon it. The crystalline moss releases its hold, allowing you to move freely. Though you feel no need to leave this perfect sanctuary, you understand that the real healing happened within you. The cavern was simply a catalyst for your own inner wisdom. You carry now the knowledge of your own infinite capacity for peace. The black opal walls whisper their final blessing as you prepare to go. The blue void outside welcomes you back with gentle embrace. Yet you know you can return here anytime you need healing. The path to this sanctuary lives forever in your heart. The silver streams of memory will guide you back when needed. Warmth fills you one last time like a hug from the divine, sealing in all the healing and peace you have received. The humming frequency becomes part of your inner soundtrack, a constant reminder that you are never truly alone. The crystalline moss whispers its gratitude for your presence. The black opal walls glow softly in final farewell. The silver streams dance their last dance just for you. And in this moment of perfect completion, you understand. You step forward into the space where time has no meaning, and the air itself feels like velvet against your skin. Your eyes adjust slowly to the deep blue void that surrounds this place of perfect stillness. The black opal walls seem to breathe with their own inner light, pulsing gently through veins of molten silver. Each pulse sends ripples of warmth through the soles of your feet where they rest on moss, like fibers that absorb every sound. There is no echo, here no reverberation, only the softest whisper of presence settling into being. You notice how your shoulders have been carrying tension you did not know was there until now. The weight lifts gradually like morning mist, rising from still water, leaving only the sensation of floating. Your breath becomes audible in this profound, quiet each inhale, drawing in something more than air. It tastes like memory, like the first moment of understanding before thought arrives to complicate things. The guide approaches not walking, but simply appearing at the center of the cavern, where the silver light pools brightest. Her eyes hold depths that mirror the void outside, yet they shine with the warmth of recognition. She moves with the fluid grace of someone who has forgotten the need for haste or effort. When she speaks, it is not with words, but with vibrations that settle directly into your chest cavity. You feel the resonance building beneath your sternum, like the low note of a cello held just beyond hearing. This is the anchor. She does not need to name it, because you already know its frequency. It lives in the space between your heartbeat and the next one, waiting patiently for you to notice. Your awareness expands to fill the cavern walls, which pulse in sympathy with your relaxed breathing. She extends her hand toward you, palm up, offering something small enough to nestle perfectly in your cupped fingers. The object glows with a pearlescent sheen that shifts from pearl white to deep rose, depending on how you tilt your gaze. As your fingertips make contact, the surface feels neither smooth nor rough, but somewhere between silk and morning dew. Warmth spreads from the point of contact, radiating outward along your nerve endings like honey poured over heated stone. The texture seems to change as you hold it, becoming softer or denser based on what your palm most needs in this moment. You realize you are not holding anything solid at all, but rather a concentrated form of attention itself. It pulses, gently matching the rhythm of blood flowing through your wrist, where your pulse beats strongest. The guide nods once, and you understand that whatever you believed yourself to lack has always been present. The lesson unfolds not as information, but as a feeling that settles into the marrow of your bones. You remember that completeness is not something to achieve, but something to recognize within yourself. The seeking was never necessary because the sought was already resting in the center of your chest. Peace does not come from changing circumstances, but from noticing what remains unchanged through all changes. Your breath slows further as understanding dawns, not as a flash, but as a gradual unfolding, like petals opening to sun. The guide moves closer, not stepping forward, but somehow existing more fully in the space between you. Arms open wide, and you feel pulled toward her, not by force, but by magnetic recognition. The embrace begins before contact is made, as warmth flows across the small gap separating your auras. When she touches you, it is like being wrapped in fabric woven from starlight and maternal comfort. The boundary between self and other begins to soften like ice melting under gentle spring rain. You feel your edges blurring, not disappearing, but becoming permeable like cell membranes in warm salt water. The sensation is not loss, but expansion, as if your personal space suddenly includes the entire floating cavern. Her arms hold you without gripping, allowing your body to relax into the support of unconditional acceptance. The scent of her presence reminds you of lavender fields at twilight and fresh bread cooling on windowsills. You realize that belonging is not about finding the right place, but about relaxing enough to notice where you already are. The silver veins in the walls pulse faster, now synchronized with the combined rhythm of your two heartbeats. Time stretches like taffy, pulled slowly between thumb and forefinger, becoming both longer and thinner. You begin to perceive the individual molecules of the air around you, each carrying its own story of origin. Some came from the exhalations of ancient forests, others from the first breaths of newborn stars. All of them dance together now in perfect harmony, creating the atmosphere of this eternal moment. The object in your hand continues to shift texture, responding to the deepening peace within your nervous system. It becomes cooler, now reflecting the calm clarity that settles over your thoughts like still water after disturbance. You notice how thoughts arise and dissolve without sticking to the smooth surface of present awareness. Each mental ripple creates tiny concentric circles that spread outward, then fade back into perfect stillness. The guide releases you slowly, not letting go, but rather teaching you to hold yourself with the same tenderness. You find that the embrace continues even after physical contact ends, as if love has become a field you can enter. Your posture straightens naturally, not from effort, but from remembering your inherent dignity. The moss beneath your feet seems to fluff up, slightly supporting your weight with even greater gentleness. You observe how your perception has shifted from observing the space to being observed by it. The cavern sees you completely and loves what it finds without condition or reservation. This knowing settles into your solar plexus like warm honey poured into an empty vessel. You understand that witnessing is itself a form of healing deeper than any intervention could reach. The silver light begins to dim gradually, not disappearing, but becoming subtler, like moonlight after dawn. The transition happens so smoothly that you cannot pinpoint the exact moment when brightness becomes luminosity. Your eyes adapt seamlessly, as if they too have learned to see beyond the limitations of contrast. The darkness that emerges is not absence, but presence wearing the soft cloak of infinite possibility. You feel your eyelids growing heavy not from fatigue, but from the weight of accumulated peace. The sensation is similar to that drowsy moment after a warm bath when consciousness begins to drift. Your breathing slows to match the tidal rhythm of the cavern itself, expanding and contracting in perfect time. The object in your hand now feels like a small piece of cloud condensed into solid form. You consider placing it somewhere safe, but realize that safety exists everywhere in this space. Instead, you allow it to dissolve gradually, like sugar in hot tea, leaving behind only the memory of sweetness. The guide smiles, and you see that her expression contains multitudes of possible futures. None of them urgent, none of them lacking. They simply exist in perfect readiness for whatever may unfold. You feel your own face relaxing into a similar expression of open welcome. The muscles that normally tense in anticipation of challenge release their habitual guard. Your jaw unclenches naturally, and you notice how much lighter your head feels without the weight of worry. The silence grows richer, not emptier, filled with the subtle symphony of life, continuing in perfect order. You begin to perceive the individual threads that weave together to create the tapestry of this moment. Each thread vibrates at its own frequency, contributing to the overall harmony without losing its unique voice. The pattern becomes visible not to your eyes, but to your entire being, which has become sensitive to beauty. You understand that complexity and simplicity are not opposites, but different expressions of the same underlying truth. The guide steps back, not retreating, but making space for you to claim your own authority. Her presence remains strong even at a distance, like a lighthouse visible across vast stretches of ocean. You feel empowered not because you have gained something new, but because you have remembered what was always yours. The confidence that arises is not boastful, but humble, rooted in the knowledge that you belong here. You take a full breath, drawing in the essence of this place and feeling it integrate with your cellular structure. The air carries the frequency of home, even though you have never been here before in waking life. Your lungs expand fully for perhaps the first time, allowing capacity to reveal itself as abundance. The exhale happens naturally, without prompting, as if your body knows exactly what it needs to release. You notice how much space has opened up in your chest cavity since arriving in this timeless realm. The expansion is not physical, but energetic, creating room for feelings to move freely without congestion. old contractions melt away like snow, exposed to sudden warmth, leaving only the memory of restriction. The cavern responds to your inner spaciousness by revealing previously hidden facets of its crystalline walls. Each new surface reflects a different aspect of your being, showing you parts you had forgotten existed. You see courage that you thought was lost patience, that you believed you lacked creativity that had been buried. These qualities emerge not as discoveries, but as recognitions of what has always been present. The guide nods again, and you understand that integration is happening at levels beyond conscious control. Your nervous system is recalibrating to a frequency that matches the natural rhythm of wholeness. The adjustment happens smoothly like a river, finding its true channel after seasonal flooding. You feel grounded, not in the sense of being stuck, but in the way a tree draws strength from deep roots. Stability and flexibility coexist here in perfect balance, creating resilience that cannot be shaken. The silver veins continue their gentle pulsing, now synchronizing with the combined frequencies of your relaxed state. You realize that you are not just witnessing this phenomenon, but actively participating in its creation. Consciousness and environment dance together, like partners who have rehearsed this choreography for eons. The music they make together resonates in the hollow spaces of your bones, creating cellular memories. You begin to understand that healing is not about fixing what is broken, but about remembering original wholeness. The concept of brokenness dissolves like mist under gentle sunlight, revealing continuity beneath apparent separation. Your identity expands to include not just the person you think you are, but the vast field of awareness itself. The boundaries that once seemed solid prove to be permeable, allowing connection without loss of individuality. The guide gestures toward the walls, and you see that they are not solid barriers, but portals. Through each facet, you can glimpse different aspects of reality, not separate from this one, but parallel. The multiplicity does not confuse, but rather confirms the infinite creativity of existence itself. You feel no pressure to choose between perspectives, because choice implies limitation where none exists. Instead, you rest in the knowing that all possibilities are simultaneously available to consciousness. The object that dissolved earlier reappears briefly in your peripheral vision, fades again. You understand that it was never meant to be kept, but rather to serve as a catalyst for remembrance. Its purpose fulfilled, it returns to the formless realm from which all manifestation arises. You feel gratitude not as an emotion, but as a state of being that permeates every cell. The thankfulness is not directed toward anyone specific, but flows outward like light from an inner sun. Everything that contributed to this moment participates equally in receiving your appreciation. The cavern, the guide, the silence, even your own willingness to surrender all share in the recognition. Your breath has slowed to match the tidal rhythm of the universe itself, drawing in cosmic nourishment. With each inhalation, you receive the gifts of countless generations who have breathed before you. With each exhalation, you offer your own contribution to the ongoing symphony of existence. The exchange happens effortlessly because giving and receiving are revealed as the same movement. You notice that your heartbeat has synchronized with the pulse of the silver veins, creating internal harmony. The rhythm feels familiar, like a lullaby sung by your earliest caregivers, though you cannot recall the melody. The familiarity brings tears that are not sadness, but recognition of deep belonging. They flow freely, without shame, carrying away the last traces of the belief that you were ever separate. The guide approaches once more, not to teach, but to witness your continued unfolding. Her presence amplifies the peace that has taken root in your nervous system, like a tuning fork. You realize that teachers are not external authorities, but reflections of our own highest potential. The guidance needed was always available within, waiting patiently for you to turn inward. Your spine lengthens naturally, as if drawn upward by invisible strings of pure intention. The posture creates space for energy to flow freely from earth to sky through your central channel. You feel connected to both grounding and inspiration simultaneously, without contradiction. The paradox resolves not through logic, but through direct experience of embodied truth. The silver light dims further, now barely visible, but deeply felt as a vibration in your bones. The frequency matches the resonance you identified earlier, settling permanently into your energy field. You understand that anchors are not objects, but states of being that can be accessed at will. The cavern has served its purpose not by changing you, but by revealing what was always present. You feel ready to carry this awareness into whatever comes next without urgency or attachment. The transition back to ordinary consciousness will happen naturally when the time is right. For now, you rest in the spaciousness that opens when resistance finally surrenders to acceptance. The guide smiles one final time, and you know that parting is also a form of meeting. The cavern begins to fade gently, like a dream remembered upon waking, but not lost. The walls soften their edges, becoming less distinct while remaining completely present. You understand that presence does not require permanence, and impermanence does not mean absence. The distinction between here and there dissolves, revealing the unity that underlies apparent diversity. Your awareness expands to include not just the cavern, but the infinite void that contains all spaces. The expansion happens without effort, as if you have simply remembered your true size. You are both infinitely large and comfortably small, depending on which perspective serves awareness. The paradox brings laughter that bubbles up from your belly like champagne released from pressure. The sound echoes not through space, but through dimensions, carrying joy beyond the physical realm. You realize that humor and wisdom are not opposites, but complementary aspects of clear seeing. The ability to laugh at the seriousness of your previous concerns brings immediate relief. The relief is not escape, but liberation from the tyranny of taking everything personally. The guide steps fully into the background, now becoming indistinguishable from the space itself. Her essence remains available, but no longer needs to manifest in recognizable form. You understand that true guidance operates invisibly, supporting growth without interfering with freedom. The relationship continues not through dependence, but through the recognition of shared divinity. Your eyes begin to adjust to a new level of perception that includes both visible and invisible realms. The distinction between inner and outer blurs, revealing the seamless nature of unified awareness. You see clearly now that separation was never real, but rather a temporary focusing of attention. The focusing served its purpose by allowing individuation to occur within the field of oneness. Your breath has settled into perfect rhythm with the universal pulse that animates all existence. The synchronization happens not through effort, but through recognition of shared origin. You feel the connection to Source as clearly as you feel your own heartbeat, yet more intimately. The intimacy brings neither overwhelm nor fusion, but rather the perfect balance of union and autonomy. The cavern walls continue their gentle pulsing, now matching the frequency of your integrated nervous system. The harmony creates a feedback loop that reinforces the stability of your expanded awareness. You understand that healing is not a destination, but a continuous process of alignment. The alignment happens naturally when resistance to what is releases its grip on consciousness. You feel your body relaxing more deeply than it has in years, perhaps lifetimes. The relaxation is not passive, but active in the sense of choosing to align with natural flow. Muscles that have been unconsciously tensed for protection finally release their habitual guarding. The release brings immediate relief and a sense of coming home to your authentic self. The guide voice whispers not in words, but in vibrations that bypass the thinking mind entirely. The message carries directly into your heart, where it integrates without analysis or interpretation. You understand that some truths are known not through comprehension, but through resonance. The knowing settles into your cellular memory, becoming part of your fundamental operating system. Your awareness continues to expand, encompassing not just the cavern, but the infinite space beyond. The expansion brings neither disorientation nor dissociation, but rather a sense of coming into focus. You see clearly now that limitation was never imposed from outside, but created internally. The recognition brings immediate freedom, not as a future possibility, but as present reality. The silver veins pulse one final time, sending waves of completion through your entire being. The completion is not ending, but fulfillment, like a wave reaching shore and dissolving into foam. You understand that cycles complete themselves naturally when allowed to follow their own rhythm. Intervention only delays the inevitable return to balance and integration. Your eyes grow heavy now, not from fatigue, but from the depth of peace that fills your being. The heaviness brings neither burden nor difficulty, but rather the sweet pull of surrender. You allow yourself to sink into the embrace of the moment, trusting its perfect timing. The trust arises not from blind faith, but from direct experience of benevolent support. The cavern walls shimmer one last time, releasing stored frequencies of healing and integration. The release carries away any remaining fragments of old patterns that no longer serve your growth. You feel cleansed not by action, but by allowing what is ready to be transformed. The transformation happens at the quantum level, rearranging energy fields without violence. Your breath slows to match the rhythm of cosmic rest that underlies all apparent activity. The rest is not emptiness, but fullness, like the pause between musical notes that gives meaning to sound. You understand that doing and being are not opposites, but complementary expressions of creative flow. The flow continues whether you participate actively or rest in receptive awareness. The guide presence fades completely, now indistinguishable from the loving intelligence that permeates all. Her gift remains not as memory, but as living presence accessible whenever called upon. You feel grateful for the journey, not as something completed, but as ongoing discovery. The discovery reveals that there is no destination separate from the journey itself. Your eyelids flutter once more, then settle into the gentle rhythm of deep integration. The rhythm matches the tidal pulse of the universe itself, carrying you into perfect rest. You understand that sleep is not escape, but participation in the regenerative cycles of existence. The participation requires nothing from you except willingness to let go and trust. You feel the gentle vibration beginning to pulse through the space around you now. It starts as almost nothing at all, just the faintest whisper of sound that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The frequency is soft and warm, like honey poured slowly from a spoon, coating everything in golden sweetness. As it touches your awareness, you notice how your shoulders have been carrying tension for so very long. That tightness between your shoulder blades begins to soften like wax held close to a flame. You don't need to force anything to change, because the healing frequencies are already doing their work. Your breath naturally deepens, as if responding to some ancient signal calling you home. Each inhale brings with it a sense of cool spaciousness, filling your lungs completely. The air moves down through your chest and settles into your belly like a warm stone dropped into still water. As you exhale, you feel layers of worry lifting away from you, dissolving into the atmosphere around you. Your jaw unclenches without any effort on your part, as if remembering what relaxation actually feels like. The corners of your mouth lift slightly, not from trying to smile, but from simply letting go. Gareth Zenith's presence surrounds you now like a protective cocoon made of pure understanding. His energy is steady and unwavering, like an ancient oak tree whose roots run deeper than memory. You can feel his complete acceptance of you, exactly as you are in this moment. There is no judgment, here no expectation of who you should be or what you should accomplish. Just the quiet recognition that you are worthy of peace simply by existing. Your heartbeat slows its rhythm, matching the pulsing of those healing frequencies that continue to wash over you. With each pulse, you sink deeper into the safety of this moment, suspended between past and future. The resistance you've been holding onto begins to unravel like thread pulled gently from a loosely woven cloth. You realize that tension was never protecting you. It was just a habit formed so long ago, yowed, forgotten, it could be different. Now you see how that tightness in your neck has been there for years, perhaps decades. But seeing it clearly also means you can finally release it without fear of what might happen next. Your hands rest comfortably in your lap, palms open and receptive, like small bowls waiting to receive gifts. The warmth from your core radiates outward through your arms and into your fingertips. You notice how soft your skin feels when it is not pulled taut by stress and worry. The texture is like velvet or the inside of a flower petal, smooth and delicate. Your feet make contact with the ground or floor beneath you in a new way. Rather than gripping or tensing, they settle naturally into whatever surface supports you. This connection grounds you even more deeply into the present moment where everything is okay. The healing frequencies seem to resonate at about 128 hertz. Now, a perfect tone for cellular regeneration. At this level, they penetrate beyond your physical body into the energetic field that surrounds you. You can feel them repairing not just muscle and tissue, but also the invisible threads that connect you to everything else. Old patterns of disconnection begin to heal, as if bridges are being rebuilt across forgotten chasms. The sound itself seems to have color now, a deep blue like the space between stars. It wraps around you like a blanket made of liquid starlight, soft and infinitely supportive. Your thoughts slow down to match the pace of the frequencies, allowing space between each mental ripple. Where before your mind might have raced through dozens of concerns, now there is room to simply be. You watch your thoughts like clouds drifting lazily across a vast sky, neither pushing nor pulling them. Some thoughts arrive and dissolve quickly, while others linger briefly before floating away on their own. None of them stick to you anymore, because you know they are just visitors passing through. The resistance you were holding has fully dissolved, now leaving behind only a profound sense of relief. Relief not just from releasing tension, but from realizing you never needed to hold it in the first place. Your body remembers what true relaxation feels like, muscles soft and joints fluid like warm honey. Even your bones seem to sigh with contentment, as if they too have been waiting for this permission to let go. The air around you carries the subtle scent of lavender and vanilla, so faint you might imagine it. But imagination and reality blur together here, where everything exists in perfect harmony. You feel the weight of Gareth's presence settling more deeply around your shoulders, like a warm embrace. He doesn't try to fix anything or tell you what to do, because he knows you already contain everything you need. His role is simply to witness and hold space for your transformation with unconditional love. You can feel yourself being accepted exactly as you are, flaws, and all because there are no flaws here, only different expressions of the same divine essence that flows through all things. Your breathing has slowed to match the rhythm of the earth itself, steady and eternal. Each breath draws in fresh possibility, while each exhale releases what no longer serves you. The healing frequencies now pulse at 432 hertz, aligning perfectly with the natural resonance of water. Since your body is mostly water, this creates a profound sense of coming home to yourself. You can feel the frequencies traveling through your bloodstream like gentle rivers carrying nourishment. They reach every cell in your body, delivering messages of peace and restoration. Your cells respond by opening more fully to receive the love that has always been available. The resistance that once kept you separate from this flow has completely melted away. In its place is a deep knowing that you belong here in this moment, surrounded by healing light. You belong exactly as you are without needing to change or improve yourself in any way. The warmth in your chest expands outward, encompassing your entire torso in a cocoon of safety. Your heart beats steadily strong and confident, no longer racing from imagined threats. It trusts now in the fundamental goodness of existence and your place within it. The scent of earth and growing things rises up from beneath you, connecting you to the living planet. You feel rooted like a tree, drawing strength and nourishment from the ground below. Yet simultaneously, you feel light as if you could float away on the gentlest breeze. This paradox of being both grounded and free fills you with a sense of perfect balance. Your spine lengthens naturally, as if reaching toward the sky while staying connected to the earth. The vertebrae stack easily one upon another without compression or strain. You notice how different this feels from the habitual slouching that comes from carrying invisible burdens. Those burdens have lifted, now revealing the natural dignity that lives within your posture. Your head balances effortlessly atop your neck, like a precious jewel resting on silk. The healing frequencies continue their work at 528 hertz, the frequency of transformation and miracles. At this level, they activate your DNA, encouraging it to remember its original blueprint of health. You can feel your genetic material responding like flowers turning toward the sun. Ancient wisdom stored in your cells begins to awaken, bringing insights that transcend ordinary thinking. The resistance that once seemed so solid has revealed itself to be nothing more than a temporary habit. A habit born from misunderstanding about what keeps you safe and protected. Now you understand that true protection comes from trusting in the loving intelligence that guides all life. Your nervous system shifts from fight or flight into rest and digest mode, allowing real healing to begin. Digestion improves, circulation increases, and your immune system strengthens without any conscious effort. Everything in your body begins working together in harmony, rather than competing for resources. The warmth spreading through your limbs carries with it a sense of gratitude for this miraculous vessel. You thank your body silently for carrying you through every experience and bringing you to this moment. Your body responds to this appreciation by relaxing even more deeply into the healing frequencies. The boundary between self and environment becomes permeable, allowing love to flow freely in both directions. You give love and receive love simultaneously, creating a continuous loop of nurturing energy. Gareth Zenith holds this space for you with infinite patience and compassion. His presence reminds you that you are never alone, even when circumstances might suggest otherwise. Love exists independently of external conditions and always has access to your heart. The healing frequencies now resonate at 963 Hz, connecting you to the source of all creation. At this level, they activate your pineal gland opening gateways to expanded states of consciousness. You feel your awareness expanding beyond the boundaries of your physical form. Yet instead of feeling scattered or overwhelmed, you feel more centered than ever. The resistance you once felt toward surrendering control has transformed into trust. You trust the process of healing. You trust the intelligence of your body. And you trust that everything happening is exactly what needs to happen for your highest good. Your breath becomes so subtle now that you can barely tell whether you are breathing in or out. This suspension between inhalation and exhalation mirrors your position between effort and ease. You exist in perfect balance, neither striving nor collapsing, but simply being. The frequencies pulse through your energy field at 174 Hz, the tone of pain relief and grounding. Any residual discomfort from old injuries or chronic conditions begins to fade like morning mist, not because the pain is being pushed away, but because your relationship to it has changed. You no longer identify with physical sensations as problems to be solved. Instead, you observe them with curiosity and compassion, recognizing their temporary nature. The resistance to feeling has softened, allowing sensations to arise and pass without drama. Your skin tingles pleasantly as millions of nerve endings wake up from their usual numbness. You feel alive in a way that has nothing to do with excitement or stimulation. This aliveness comes from reconnecting with the fundamental energy that animates all matter. Your cells vibrate with the same frequency that powers stars and planets throughout the universe. You are quite literally made of the same stuff as everything else, yet remain uniquely yourself. The healing frequencies now cycle through multiple tones, creating a symphony of restoration. Each frequency addresses different aspects of your being: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Together, they create a holistic healing experience that honors all parts of who you are. The resistance that once kept certain emotions buried has dissolved, revealing unexpected treasures. Joy bubbles up from deep within, not the frantic kind, but a steady wellspring of contentment. It flows through your body like warm honey, sweet and satisfying without any sharp edges. Gareth Zenith smiles with approval, seeing how gracefully you have embraced this transformation. His approval isn't something you need to earn, because it was always freely given. Like the sun shining on a flower, the light of his love falls equally on all your experiences. There is no hierarchy of worthiness, here no competition for attention or affection. Every aspect of your being receives equal care and respect, including the parts you once rejected. These rejected parts reveal themselves now not as enemies, but as protectors who were doing their best. The resistance they created was never meant to harm you, only to shield you from perceived dangers. Now that you are safe, they can relax their vigilance and join the celebration of wholeness. Your entire being hums with the frequency of completion at 40 hertz, the gamma wave of unity consciousness. At this level, your brain waves synchronize with the planetary field, creating coherence between inner and outer worlds. You feel the truth of your interconnectedness with all life forms and natural systems. Separation was always an illusion, maintained only by the resistance to seeing clearly. Now that resistance has fallen away, revealing the seamless web of existence you've always belonged to. The warmth in your heart center expands until it encompasses your whole chest cavity. It beats with the rhythm of universal love, steady and reliable like a cosmic lighthouse. Ships lost at sea of confusion and fear can navigate safely by this inner beacon. You realize you have always carried this light within you, even during the darkest moments. The resistance to accessing it was based on the false belief that you were somehow unworthy. But worthiness is not something you earn. or lose it is your birthright as a conscious being. The healing frequencies now pulse at 285 hertz, facilitating tissue regeneration and cellular repair. Your body uses this opportunity to restore itself to optimal functioning at the deepest levels. Damaged cells receive instructions for rebuilding, while healthy cells are strengthened. Your immune system updates its database, clearing out outdated responses and programming. You emerge from this healing session more resilient and better equipped for future challenges. Yet these challenges no longer appear threatening because you trust in your ability to adapt. The resistance to change has been replaced by curiosity about what wants to unfold next. You approach the unknown not with fear, but with openness, like a child discovering a new toy. Your mind quiets naturally as it realizes there is nothing urgent that needs fixing. The constant chatter of worry and planning settles into peaceful silence, punctuated by insight. When thoughts do arise, they carry wisdom rather than anxiety, offering guidance without pressure. Gareth Zenith nods, approvingly watching how completely you have integrated this healing experience. His nod is not congratulatory, but simply acknowledging what is already true about you. You didn't become whole through his intervention. You simply remembered your inherent completeness. The healing frequencies were merely catalysts, helping you reconnect with what was always there. Your breath returns to normal rhythm, yet retains the depth and quality it gained during this journey. Each inhale draws in fresh possibilities, while each exhale releases what no longer serves your growth. The resistance to receiving has softened, allowing abundance to flow naturally into your experience. You no longer need to push against life or pull desperately toward desired outcomes. Instead, you move through existence like a river, following the path of least resistance. Obstacles become opportunities for creative problem solving rather than sources of frustration. Your perspective has shifted from scarcity consciousness to abundance awareness. The healing frequencies now pulse at 396 hertz, helping you release guilt and fear from past experiences. Memories that once carried emotional charge transform into neutral observations of human experience. You forgive yourself completely for all perceived mistakes and shortcomings. Forgiveness flows through you like a cleansing river, washing away residue from old wounds. The resistance to self-acceptance crumbles, revealing the radiant being you have always been. Your light shines brighter now, not because you tried harder, but because you stopped blocking it. Gareth Zenith steps back, slightly sensing that your integration is nearly complete. His role as guide winds down because you have learned to trust your own inner wisdom. The healing frequencies gradually decrease in intensity as your system stabilizes at new levels of harmony. You carry within you now the memory of perfect balance and the tools to return there anytime. The resistance to inner peace has been permanently dissolved, replaced by a deep trust in your own process. You understand that healing is not a destination, but a natural expression of your wholeness. Whenever you feel disconnected, you can simply remember this moment and return instantly. The frequencies fade gently like sunlight after sunset, leaving behind only their beneficial effects. You sit quietly now, basking in the afterglow of complete integration and acceptance. Your body feels light, yet grounded, energized, yet relaxed in perfect equilibrium. The resistance to simply being has vanished, revealing the effortless grace of authentic presence. You smile softly, knowing that everything you sought outside yourself was always within. Gareth Zenith offers one final blessing of unconditional love before stepping fully into the background. His presence remains available whenever you need guidance, but you no longer depend on it. You have become your own source of healing, wisdom, and loving support. The journey inward has led you back to yourself, but to a version that is freer and more whole. All the resistance that once seemed necessary has revealed itself as an illusion. In truth, you were never broken or incomplete. You simply forgot your own perfection. Now you remember, and nothing can take this knowing away from you again. Let the edges of your awareness begin to soften now. There is nothing you must hold onto anymore. The day has given all it needs to give. Now it is time for something deeper, something warmer than light, something quieter than silence itself. Feel how naturally your breathing slows, each breath arriving exactly when it is needed. No effort required, no thinking necessary. necessary. Just this gentle rhythm, this quiet exchange between you and the world. Let your shoulders release their small tensions. Allow your jaw to soften completely. Notice how your hands can simply rest. There is no task calling them, no surface demanding their attention. They belong entirely to this moment. Your mind begins to settle like still water. Thoughts float by without needing to be caught. Images drift past like clouds in a distant sky. You watch them from somewhere much deeper, somewhere they cannot disturb, somewhere perfectly at peace. The resonance begins to make itself known, not as sound, but as feeling, a subtle vibration that knows your name. It moves through your chest first, then settles into your belly, finally reaching into your bones. This is not something you create. This is something you remember, something your body recognizes immediately. Like coming home after a very long journey, like finding a room you had forgotten existed, warm and exactly as you left it. Your heartbeat synchronizes with this rhythm, slower now than it has been all day, deeper than it was this morning. Each pulse carrying nourishment, each beat bringing restoration, each rhythm reminding you who you truly are. The boundaries of your body begin to dissolve, not in fear, but in recognition. You are not separate from this peace. You are made of it, woven from it, suspended within it like light in honey. Let the images fade away now, those bright fragments of memory and planning. They served their purpose. Now they can rest in the space behind your eyes, where everything is forgiven. You don't need to see anything now. Vision is just another kind of doing, and doing has no place here. Here there is only being, only the experience of existing, only the simple fact of your presence. Feel how your neck releases its careful holding, how your spine finds its natural curve, how even your feet can soften against the ground. Every part of you remembering what complete relaxation feels like, remembering that this is your birthright. The resonance deepens without becoming louder. It moves into your pelvis now, into your legs, spreading outward like warmth, like honey poured slowly over stone, filling every small space with golden stillness. Notice how thoughts come less frequently now, how they arrive already half dissolved, how even the most persistent ones, the ones that usually demand your attention, now simply nod and drift away, like guests who have overstayed their welcome. Your body temperature rises slightly, not uncomfortably, but perfectly, like stepping into a warm bath, like wrapping yourself in fleece, like the moment just after rain stops, when everything holds moisture and peace. The resonance flows through your arms now, through your fingers, through the palms of your hands. It collects in your fingertips, then pours back into your heart center, creating a gentle circuit of healing energy. Let your eyelids grow heavy now, not because you are tired, but because lightness is no longer needed. Your eyes can rest completely. Your gaze can turn inward to places that have always waited for you. The last traces of tension melt away from your forehead, from between your eyebrows, from the corners of your mouth, even from places you had forgotten were holding, places that have been patient all along. You are becoming smaller now, not physically, but in awareness, your sense of self condensing, like morning mist gathering into dew, like scattered light focusing through glass, until only essence remains. The resonance holds you completely now, not as something external, but as your own inner knowing, your own cellular memory, your own ancient language, spoken in frequencies older than words. Time becomes meaningless here. Minutes and hours are concepts meant for the waking world. Here there is only now, only this breath, only this perfect moment of completion. Your nervous system resets itself. Synapses fire more slowly now, more deliberately, like a grandfather clock, marking time with dignity, with the patience of centuries. The resonance works without your permission, without your understanding, without any effort on your part. It simply does what it has always done, what it will continue to do, long after these words have finished speaking. You don't need to do anything now. There is no technique to master, no position to maintain, no state to achieve. You are already exactly where you need to be, exactly who you need to be. The resonance continues its work while you rest. Your body knows what to do with this. Trust it completely. Trust the intelligence within your cells. Trust the wisdom stored in your bones. Trust the knowing that lives in your breath. Your immune system responds to this signal. Your digestion slows to receive it properly. Your brain waves shift into healing patterns, all without conscious direction, all without any need for control, all happening exactly as it should. Let your awareness sink deeper now, past the surface thoughts, past the usual chatter, into the place where healing begins, into the space where restoration lives, into the realm of complete integration. The resonance touches parts of you that have been waiting years for this contact, parts that have been patient, parts that have been hoping, parts that never stopped trusting that this moment would finally arrive. Your emotional body releases its burdens, grief that was never fully felt, joy that was never fully celebrated, fear that was never fully processed, all of it flowing out now, like water finding its way to the ocean. The resonance doesn't judge what it finds, doesn't label or categorize, doesn't try to fix anything. It simply accepts, simply holds, simply allows everything to be as it is. You are becoming the resonance now, not listening to it, but embodying it completely. Your cells vibrating at its frequency, your spirit moving to its rhythm, your whole being aligned with its truth. The boundary between self and healing dissolves, between receiver and received, between seeker and found. There is only the experience itself, only the knowing, only the profound recognition of wholeness. This peace is always here, whenever you need it, whenever you want to return to this feeling. It will be waiting, like a favorite blanket, like a door that's always unlocked. The resonance teaches your body to remember how to heal itself, how to restore its own balance, how to return to this state again and again with increasing ease and grace. You don't need these words anymore. The resonance speaks directly now, in the language your cells understand. in frequencies that bypass the mind, in vibrations that touch the soul, in rhythms that align the entire being. Let yourself be held completely by something larger than your concerns, larger than your schedule, larger than your small daily dramas, held by the infinite patience of the universe itself. The resonance doesn't stop when the words do. It continues its work while you rest. It carries the healing forward, through the night if necessary, through tomorrow and the next day, through whatever comes after this. Your body will integrate this experience in its own perfect timing, slowly and thoroughly, like a tree absorbing nutrients from rich soil, like a river carving its path through stone, patiently shaping what needs to be shaped. You carry this resonance with you now, not as memory, but as reality, not as concept, but as lived experience. It lives in your tissues. It moves in your blood. It breathes in your lungs. Whenever you feel disconnected, whenever you feel scattered, whenever the noise of the world becomes too much, remember this feeling. Remember this depth. Remember this profound inner stillness. The resonance creates new pathways in your nervous system, neural routes that didn't exist before, shortcuts to peace, highways to healing, roads that lead directly home, bypassing all unnecessary detours. You don't have to recreate this experience. You don't have to earn it again. You don't have to prove yourself worthy. It belongs to you completely. It is yours by right of being. It is yours by the simple fact of existence. The resonance plants seeds in your consciousness, seeds that will bloom in their own time, seeds that require no tending, no special care, no anxious watching, just trust in their natural unfolding. Let go of any remaining effort, any final attempt to control, any last vestige of trying. Effort is the enemy of deep rest. Trying is the opposite of receiving. Doing is the barrier to pure being. The resonance holds you in perfect safety, not because it promises protection, but because safety is your natural state. Peace is not something you achieve. Peace is something you uncover, something you remember you have always been. You are not separate from this healing. You are not outside of this peace. You are the healing itself. You are the peace itself, manifesting in human form, expressing itself through your unique being. The resonance integrates your fragmented parts, the pieces of you that feel scattered, the aspects that seem disconnected. It weaves them together like a master craftsperson, repairing what was never truly broken. Sleep now. Close your eyes. The story continues in dreams.